What's going on, everybody? Today we're diving into Reflection, one of the toughest mechanics to master in the First Berserker. This one technique single-handedly opens up boss fights, making them easier, more exciting, and much more rewarding upon completion. I personally started diving into Reflection during my encounter with Rangus, but even after defeating him, I challenged him again because the satisfaction of learning his moveset and countering his attacks at will was so satisfying. I'll talk more about him later. First, let me explain what Reflection is and then how we can get better at it quickly. Simply put, Reflection is a counterattack against regular moves that monsters and bosses throw out. You basically negate their weapon of choice with your own, and deal a staggering amount of stamina damage in the process. Now, I said quote-unquote regular moves because there are moves that you cannot counter, such as burst attacks, grab attacks, and unfortunately, even some normal attacks. We really only know for sure by trial and error. Luckily, you only really need Reflection for boss fights, so I wouldn't bother wasting time learning to reflect regular monsters. So now that we know what Reflection does and what it works on, let's take a look at the skill tree and what I think are absolute musts for skill nodes. We can find Reflection if we tab over to the common section, then go over to the second skill tree. Besides Reflection itself, I recommend we take Reflection Swift. It will shorten the activation time for parrying, making it much easier to land. Reflection Offense and Reflection Armor are options you'll access early on, and yeah, they're okay. Offense adds a bit of health damage on a successful reflection, but it's not much. And a successful reflection means you take 0 damage from the enemy. So armor only helps if you miss your technique. Since this ability is all about mastery of high risk, high reward, I think your skill point is better spent somewhere else. Alright, so we've set up our reflections for success, so now we practice.
We talking about practice.
The only way to improve is by getting in the reps. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I think the best and most exciting way to learn this technique is by fighting a boss and learning their attack patterns. Personally, Rangus is perfect for this because of his limited and highly telegraphed attacks. He's not as fast or difficult, in my opinion, as Viper was early on. On top of that, fighting bosses will always reward you with a small amount of Lacrima, even on defeat. So if nothing else, you're working your way towards leveling up even as you practice your reflections. But if you're still early on in the game, then head over to the training grounds. You can access it from the Crevice Hub area. Go to main menu, select Dafrona's Codex, tab over to Dragonkin, and then select Masterless Guardian. We choose this monster because his first attack is always a slow, overhead crushing blow. It's telegraphed and consistent so that you can just focus on using Reflection on this singular attack. Whether you land it or mess up, you can just restart training and do it again. And best of all, there is a restart training shortcut, so you don't have to navigate all the way through the training menu all over again. And a bonus tip, if you get tired of the scenery, you have another training ground to choose from. All we're focusing on is getting used to the speed of our reflection technique. As a spear main, I found it useful to picture the tip of my spear deflecting my opponent's attacks, matching my attack with their own attack speed. These clips aren't doing it justice because my character is so far into this Dragonkin's body/animation. I think these clips do a better job explaining the tip of the spear timing that you want to achieve. The distance itself isn't actually relevant, so once you have the timing down, you can actually use Reflection right up in their face if you wanted to. Once you start to feel comfortable with your timing, you'll have a better understanding of which enemy attacks look reflectable based on their speed. Then you just use trial and error to confirm that. Against Rangus, I like to reflect the third attack of his pattern. It's really consistent since he doesn't change the timing on it. And when you feel like styling on him a bit, you can sit back and watch him burn through his stamina as he tries to shoot you, but you reflect through all of the bullets. really feels like those YouTube shorts of people countering in Sekiro. It's a really good feeling. Hey, if you made it this far into the video, please do me a favor and leave a comment below. I'm actually working on beating Malika, so if you know some good moves to use reflection on, then please let me know down below. I just got to this encounter and it's crazy how fast he moves. But I did mention earlier how difficult Viper was as an early game boss, so if you're still struggling with him, even after replaying that fight, then check out this video here for some ways to make that encounter easier on yourself.